Welcome to Travel Talk with Selling Travel. Today I'm joined by Onur Takmak, owner of ONEE, a B2b distribution platform built specifically for travel agents interested in the luxury rental market. So Onur, tell me about ONEE and how it's different to other booking platforms out there.
Thank you, Jessica. So yeah, as you rightly mentioned, we are a B2B distribution platform for luxury travel. We are currently focusing on high-end vacation rental properties across the world. We are looking to add yachts and expedition cruises as well. So we do a lot of surveys, a lot of meetings and with travel advisors, vacation rental property managers, as well as end users, although we don't directly serve the travelers themselves. And we work mainly and primarily with the TAs, so the only TAs can book for their guests on our platform. But we try to understand what the guests want, where they want to travel, and all that. So yeah, I mean, for this season, I think we'll have 80% of our inventory will be villas. We'll have some yachts in the Mediterranean, and we'll start adding expedition cruises in some very interesting places around the world as well. So we're trying to help distribution of vacation rental. We're trying to create a more inclusive platform, not like the incumbent OTAs, which has been from the very beginning at the get-go a competition, a very sort of detrimental sort of level of competition for the travel advisory business. We would like to create a platform where travel advisors have access to inventory, they have transparency of pricing, they have a guaranteed commission, which kind of might change from one property to the other and one date to the other, because professional vacation rental property managers decide on these margins, and they can even use these margins as a way to promote their properties. Make promotions, and rather than paying 10%, they might have a particular property they may want to pay 25% reseller commission to the travel agents. So we're trying to create this sort of very transparent sort of platform where business can be made, and people can transact and make bookings.
Mm-hmm. And tell me about the decision to target the B2B audience instead of just going direct to the consumer.
Yeah, I mean, look, we are very interested in building villas and high-end vacation rental properties to rent. That was our starting point. And the more we looked into it as to sort of how are we going to distribute these properties, who's going to manage these properties, and what's the best way to get to the travelers, we've not only realized the imperfections and the inefficiencies of the distribution of the high end, but also the roadblocks for property owners, professional or individual high end property owners, the obstacles for them to reach out to the travel advisors to get to the vetted guests. So the more we did work on this segment, the more we were convinced that we had to do something. We had to create a distribution platform that's inclusive of the TAs that are inviting, that are bringing the travel advisors into this asset class. So one thing that is very critical here is that we're not an open sort of website to everyone and anyone. So we have, obviously, you can go in and you can type in www.onee.com. And as a traveler or as someone who is not logged onto the platform, you can see a few properties, you can see a few things. But what really happens, where the magic happens, is when you log in and go into this B2B marketplace, which is closed and secure. So we can do some amazing things that you cannot do in a sort of more sort of open website sort of platform, which is open to travelers and guests and all the rest. So the magic of our platform is this sort of closed B2B marketplace where people, both vacation rental property managers as well as the travel advisors, need to log in to. And before they log in, they need to register. We need to talk to them. We need to understand who they are. We need to make sure that they are all qualified travel advisors, and with the proper setup. And on the other side, we have the vacation rental property managers and we look at their businesses, we look at, who they are, what they do, what their perception on the market has been so far with the guests. We look at their properties, we visit them on site, we see the properties. So we build a relationship with the vacation rental managers to make sure that they are for real and their services are immaculate. So both sides are vetted. And there is a sort of discretionary sort of process on our side to talk to both sides and make sure anyone who comes on, registers on the platform, they are vetted by our sales team in London, and then they're allowed access into this sort of amazing sort of B2B platform. So that is the magic. That is that closed circuit, closed space where B2B transactions can happen. And this the very nature of this sort of platform that that come in and see the properties, see the prices, see the margin, that allows us to do unique things that even the big incumbents like the big OTAs, Airbnbs and bookings, VRBOs cannot do. I'll give you one example before we move on to the next question. I think so. The biggest part of the luxury market, the more interesting part of the luxury market, is the off-market properties, or they call them pocket properties, pocket listings in the Caribbean, right? It's an amazing property. It's owned by a celebrity, royalty, someone important, and they don't want such properties to come onto the rental market. They don't want listings to be on public domain. But think about what I've just told you. We are a closed, secure B2B marketplace. So we can afford to have listings for off-market properties. So one of the key things, one of the valuable parts of our inventory is these off-market properties that for the first time, vacation rental property managers can create a listing for, which they wouldn't be able to do on any other public, platform, on any other website. So the very nature of the platform, the business model, the approach, the clean and honest approach that we advise and support and promote well-advised travel, the travel agencies, inclusion into the vacation rental market, trying to create an orderly, graceful sort of access, a transparent sort of pricing, a seamless, secure payment process, all of these things. So it's a fresh breath, I think, in an industry where people are trying to find their way in these sort of huge platforms.
It sounds like you're offering agents the chance to create very exclusive properties, packaging, and kind of tailor-make these properties to match to their clients.
Yeah, I mean, we're not a villa booking website. So when you register and go in, you're approved to go in, you're vetted to go in as a travel advisor. You land on a dashboard, which is a fairly complicated, very sophisticated, technology there. You have lots of tools that, and all of these tools, all of these features are based on our extensive discussions with our travel advisor partners. We run through their day. So you get a call from a client and who wants to book a villa for an engagement party in Tuscany. So how do you go about that? What is the first thing you do? And so normally, let me quickly run you through that. So normally, when a travel advisor gets an inquiry for a travel arrangement, that includes private accommodation, vacation rental accommodation in an area that the travel advisor isn't a specialist in or doesn't have relationships with. So what they do is they go on Google, they find the property managers, they find the properties, then start exchanging emails, asking about the properties, their availabilities and their commission and all that. It just goes back and forth, and 20 emails later, they come to a point where they can offer something to their client. And then, if a booking happens, then, the payment process, who's going to pay who, how's the commission's going to come, all those things, the contracts, everything. So what we do is we take all that out. So if the travel advisor, travel agent gets a call to book a villa in Tuscany, they'll go to ONEE.com, they'll put Tuscany, they'll see all the properties, so they will have access to inventory. They don't need to Google. So we take the Google out of the equation now. And then they see the list of properties. And then not only they see the property, they see the prices and they see the commissions that they're going to get for each booking. It's very transparent. In some cases, you might get 5%. In some cases, you may get 20%, So then if it's an instant book, they'll instant book. Or if it's an inquiry based, most of our properties are inquiry based, so they will inquire about it, and this inquiry form they'll tell about the traveling party. The vacation rental property manager, it's an all automated process within the website. There's no emailing, there's no messaging, there's nothing. It's just a button, click of a button, inquire about it. If you like, put a commentary about the traveling party. Vacation rental property manager on their dashboard, they approve it and the transaction is done. So that we take care of payments. We take care of the payment again with a B2b payment system of Stripe. So what happens is, when the booking comes in, the money comes in, it's directly distributed to the vacation rental property manager and the travel advisor. So we don't hold on to anyone's money. So that's also one of the other things. We wanted to find ways of helping travel agents. And at this time, they were, for this year's bookings and Christmas and summer bookings, they were like, because they're coming out of a trough, they need liquidity, they need cash flow. We were like, okay, so you don't need to wait until travel happens to get your commissions. The moment that the booking happens, the money hits the bank, hits the payment gateway, you'll get your commissions there and then. So we think about all these features and all these things as to how we can help the travel advisors. So in this process, as I've explained to you, we took Google out of the equation. We took all the emailing out of the equation, and just a seamless, transparent, secure way of accessing the inventory, seeing the commissions, and making the booking. So, but I didn't tell you about WhatsApp. When WhatsApp comes into play?
No.
After all these interactions about the property, at the very last moment, vacation rental property managers, they'll come back to you and say, you know what, actually, there is a property, this amazing property owned by a celebrity, but we don't have a listing for it, and it's exactly the sort of thing that you like. I can ask about it. It's maybe a little bit more expensive, but I think it's worth a shot. You know what? I'm going to send you pictures of it on WhatsApp, okay? Because I can't email you. There's no listing for it. I cannot direct you to a website. So then the WhatsApp comes into play. Exchanging messages of this sort of mysterious sort of off-market property. We take WhatsApp out of the equation as well. So because we have, we enable vacation rental property managers to create an off-market listing, and off-market listings can be visible to what we call a platinum level travel advisor. So we have all the travel advisors, and within travel advisors, we look at their recency, frequency, and monetary value, their performance. We always give them the credit when they start. Most of our travel advisors start as a platinum level, so they can make the most out of the platform. They can see all the properties, and we look at their performance. We look at how committed they are to the platform, how many bookings they make, and then we're trying to be inclusive. We're just trying to help, but we also try to be we also try to be fair to everyone on the platform. So there's going to be a sort of a categorization of travel advisors between some normal travel advisors and platinum who will have access to these sort of properties. So if you think about it from a very sort of task-oriented, process-oriented perspective, very simplistic, very sort of step-by-step process-wise, we take out the Google search, all the emailing, all the sort of back and forth, all the negotiations, all the contracting, everything is out. Everything is done on one platform. All you need to do is log in, search, find the properties. You can share them with your clients as well in a privately. The client doesn't need to travel, doesn't need to see ONEE. We put the travel agent's logo or name onto this PDF file or the link that they send to the travelers. So the traveler can take a look at them and give the feedback. The booking can happen seamlessly and securely. So this is the way we approach to the platform. So how can we make, a seamless transaction happen? How can we make lives of travel advisors easier, better? How can we make the payments more secure? So this is how we have built the platform, all of it.
It's really a simplistic tool to get from A to B, isn't it? And you're taking out all the complications that travel agents come across along the way.
All the contracting, payments, everything out. It's all done in a very sort of secure, best-in-class tools on the platform. I mean, simple things like, for example, one of the travel agents was telling us, I have like 100 clients, so every time I need to create the travel, the traveler's profile or the travel party. So we built a tool, a feature that, travel agents, if they like, they can import their clients lists onto the platform. Obviously, we don't have access to it. We don't need to have access to it. It's a secure way of basically importing their clients in there. And they can, for each client, they can create a travel party. So, for example, you're a client, Jessica, and they, that's the main client, and they can create, your travel agent can create different travel parties around your profile. So you with your sisters and mother and father, and the party of 5, and then with your grandparents, and then it's the party of 7, and then it's a broader party, traveling party where you all go three generations to Barbados, 12 of you. So they can create these travel party profiles under you, and when you go back, when you want to go back to Barbados again with those 12 people, the names, the date of birth, their preferences, everything is in the system. So the system just helps not only to book once, but the more you use it, it becomes easier and easier and easier to transact on.
And then travel agents finally become a platinum member, and they have all these benefits available to them.
Absolutely. I mean, we do care about travel agents, and we do care about well-advised travel. I think where we are right now, everyone is in a sort of a bit of soul-searching mood. Even the travelers, they're like, so people are thinking what they're going to do next and how they're going to approach travel. They just want to get out and, enjoy, new scenery, the sun, whatever their interests are, the mountains and the beaches and all the rest, in different geographies and cuisine and all that. But, I think the hotels will struggle this year. Obviously, they'll come back. Hotels are an integral part of the whole luxury segment. But I think this year people will prefer a bit more sort of being in contained, sort of secure sort of environment. And I think it's going to be a very, very strong year we were seeing that already. It's going to be an amazingly strong year for the luxury villas and vacation rental properties.
Definitely. I was going to ask you actually, with self-contained properties and villa properties being such a huge trend, have you found that there's been strong demand considering?
Oh yes, absolutely. I mean, there's huge demand for it. I mean, if you think about it, it's not only being sort of isolated, in a secure way, being privacy and all those things in a villa environment, but it's also the sort of the peace of mind, right? So if you're in a hotel, even if in the best hotel, you have kids around, you have parents around, vulnerable, some vulnerable ages that might be traveling with you as well, vaccinated or not. It's like, okay, so shall I touch this? Shall I touch that? Yeah. The virus lives does it live on glass or an aluminum or wood? Shall I touch the elevator? I mean, it's all these sort of anxiety in a hotel environment, even if you put the masks and this and that. It's just, it doesn't really change the experience much. So much in the sense that, you have that anxiety that you have always already had at home, and you transfer it with you into this sort of holiday environment. But in a sterile, villa environment, you can have a much better experience, and people see that, people acknowledge that. So this year, I think it's going to be quite strong, especially the tail end of summer is going to be very, very strong. It's going to be an amazingly strong Christmas, and people are already looking at long holidays for Easter next year. So, looking at 3 weeks in South America and 3 weeks in Asia, those sort of big bookings as well. People are looking back into these sort of multi-week itineraries for 2022. The market's going to be back. This year, Europe's going to be very strong. Travel within Europe is going to be very strong. Next year, I think, peripheral markets will struggle this year, obviously, because they need to catch up with the vaccinations and all that. Yeah. But within EU, I think it's going to be very, very strong.
Yes, definitely for the villa and private rentals market. So tell us about your luxury properties. You offer them worldwide. Tell us about some of your most luxurious.
Yeah, I mean, it's people think about luxury as as a pricing point. It's not necessarily the case. So it's obviously some of these properties are extremely pricey, but the numbers are 50,000 to 150,000 a week in a part of our portfolio. it is what they represent. That's what luxury is, that unique access that no one has, no one can at that point in time. There's only one, and you have access to that. And I mean, we have amazing properties, properties from, the amazing villa on the beach in Cabo, in Pedregal Beach, on the beach by the ocean, to, villas on, looking over Lake Como, the Tuscan Hills, big
Great
villas.
amenities, I presume. With pools and views and hot tubs and things.
Hot tubs and gyms, and in some cases there's stuff. In some cases, sports facilities like tennis and other things. Some properties have helipads, so they also give you an additional layer of sort of inconvenience from a travel perspective. But Jessica, the most amazing properties on the portfolio are those, you go to a location, say you go to Barbados, right? Or just, go to Saint-Tropez, whatever, you travel and it's the first time you go there and you just see this amazing property on top of the hill, this wide, big villa looking over the bay. And it's like, what's that? What's that villa? Who owns that? Who stays there? You know what? That property is on ONEE.
Yeah.
It's owned by a celebrity. It's owned by somebody, it's this amazing property, and you don't, it's just rumors and mystery about it. But then, we have those stuff on the platform. Wow. It's amazing. Yeah.
The kind of thing you see on celebrity TV shows, isn't it? Luxury.
I mean, not all of our properties are like that, obviously. I mean, in Europe, I think, the lowest prices on the properties we have are, I think, sort of around 1,000 a night, 1,000 a night, 1,500 a night, that sort of range. Properties in Croatia, Marbella, in Italy, some properties in Greece, they are, within that sort of 10, 15,000 a week. That's where the core market is. That's where our core market is. But then you have these amazing other properties where, 50,000, 70,000 and more. We have those. Not all of those. Not all of our properties are that, but there are a few amazing stuff, amazing properties.
And obviously you have group bookings as well, so it's split between the group.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I mean, these are big villas. I mean, we basically, of course, we're not in a position to facilitate that, but because these are larger properties, travel advisors are capable of doing that. I mean, we have, for example, chateaus with like 20 rooms, right? So you can rent 3 rooms, you can rent the first floor, you can rent the second floor, you can rent the whole property as well. So we have the flexibility. We have flexibility in some properties as to how much of it they want to, how much of the traveler want to rent. Of course, they get different prices. For smaller parties, they get smaller prices. The larger parties, they get larger prices. But the idea is to have these, include these properties into the business, right? Bring them on board, digitalize them, just like Airbnb has done. Airbnb has over, I think, 8 million properties right now. And what they've done, and I think the only thing that they've done amazingly well, is to digitalize and create this market, created this economy. And what we are doing is we are digitalizing these off-market properties. So we're bringing them into a market. We're making them sort of tradable, bookable, on a platform. And people like these things, and these are the things that differentiate between, a good and ordinary or an amazing travel advisor as well. Some people, we have talked to travel agents that have put together itineraries for, American families coming to Europe for 3 weeks for a grand tour with a budget over $1 million. 1.5 million. I mean, people work on these. People work with these sort of budgets, and those people obviously want to have the most amazing property that is available out there and offer that to their clients. And there is and you cannot be a specialist in Saint-Tropez and Tuscany and Mykonos and Ibiza and all the chalet market in the French Alps and the Swiss Alps and Austria, or expedition cruises in Antarctica. You cannot be a specialist in all these things. You cannot know everybody all around the world who has the best, most amazing properties. And this is also a moving target, because new properties come onto the market. Even if you knew someone 5 years ago in Saint-Tropez, he may not be there, or the properties might have changed. So what we have is always up to date. We have the best and amazing properties by again, leading property managers in respective geographies, and we provide travel agents a graceful access to this, a transparent, very secure access to this. So that's why we're so excited about it, because we're getting amazingly positive reception from travel agents so far.
Yeah, it's constantly evolving. There's always something new, something bigger, something better that agents can offer their clients.
Absolutely. I mean, it helps them digitalize their platforms as well. I think there were a few key themes that came up in our discussions with the travel agents as we start building the platform 18 months ago, and they were complaining about digitalizing their platforms, find ways of digitalizing their booking processes, their access. They were looking for ways of accessing to new products. So vacation rental is a new product because a travel agent cannot get a commission by booking a property on VRBO or Airbnb. So it's a new product for them. It's a new service for them. It's a new source of revenue for them, and it's a better way of engaging with the suppliers as well. It's a more orderly sort of platform where vacation rental property managers, they come on board, they register, and we verify them, we verify their properties, they come, they sign the contracts, they agree with the terms, they transparently put the margin that they're going to give to travel advisors on our platform. So it's a more sort of secure. It's a better way of engaging with the suppliers as well as their suppliers. It's a way that they can offer more and engage better with their clients as well.
Definitely. And you mentioned earlier that you want to evolve into luxury yachts. So where do you see ONEE going in the future?
So, I mean, we obviously, again, we're not going to have all the yachts of the world on our platform. But again, look, anything that we do, Jessica, is based on a feedback we get from our partners, from travel agents. So they come to us and say, okay, so we are booking this property, in Amalfi Coast, and the guest wants to have, after 7-8 days in the villa, they want to have a yacht experience for 3-4 days a week. And we don't want to go out and try to find the yachts, as well. So is it if it were possible that they could, they could book this on our platform, they would do that. So we take that feedback and now we have we already added a few yachts in Italy, in Adriatic, and in the Aegean. So for the Greek market, for the Croatian market, and for the Italian market, now we offer a few, I think around 100 or so yachts and bullets that travel agents can book on top of their villa accommodation bookings. But again, so one side of this is the feedback we get from travel agents, but the other side of this is the feedback we hear from the travelers. We do a lot of surveys with the luxury travelers in terms of their tendencies and their preferences. So these people have a certain budget, to spend for their holidays. They go out to travel, for up to 6 weeks around the year, and they spread it out in a week to 2-3 week sort of itineraries. And if this person with this sort of budget and this time frame, they want to spend they want to spend a week in Italy or South France, they stay in a villa. If they want to be in the Mediterranean, have access to some of the amazing sort of islands and beaches and bays, they want to go on a yacht. If they want to go to Antarctica, or they want to go to Amazon, or they want to go to Greenland, or they want to do things in Thailand, in Indonesia, they want to go on an expedition cruise. So it is what we're doing isn't different, really. We're just trying to help these clientele access the inventory globally, whether it accommodation. You don't have a villa in Antarctica, so you need to have an expedition cruise there. You need to have a yacht, expedition yacht there. So that's what we do. We follow the client and their preference and their needs and their choices. And based on those choices, we go back to the travel advisor and say, look, your client wants to be in a villa, in a yacht, in an expedition cruise, and we have them all. Here we go. You have access to it. You can book it seamlessly. You can get paid through here very transparently. You see your commissions, all the tools to make your life easy, from setting up the client lists and all that, and invoicing, contracting. Everything is here for you, built for you. Utilize it. So that's what we're doing.
Yes. Yeah, great for adding on different excursions, experiences, and it's all commission based. So agents they have it all there at their fingertips.
Absolutely. It's very transparent. So we have a very, very transparent, very honest model, and our margins. The way we built the business is that we charge only 5% for transactions for most of our most of the categories. In some extreme cases where, for example, if we're working on onboarding a yacht to our inventory, it's €500,000. So it's different economics apply to extreme numbers, obviously. But for the core market, we charge 5% for the transaction. So we facilitate the booking, and then whatever the vacation rental property manager wants to pay on top of that will go to the travel advisor. So we don't take any share. If the travel advisor gets 20%, they get 20%. We don't take a bite in that. Our margin is 5%, and we'll stay at 5% at most. And it's going to be lower in some extreme price points, obviously. So we've calibrated the platform, our cost base. We calibrated the technology. We calibrated everything that this is a viable, growing business that helps the industry, that facilitates trade in the industry, that promotes well-advised travel and travel agency, and also help the travelers make better decisions, because they're getting advice from professionals who has access to the best inventory in the world. So it's a win-win-win situation. So that's why we are a B2B platform, but we are a B2B2C business.
Great. Well, it was lovely speaking to you, Onur. Thank you so much for taking the time, and I wish the business all the best in the future. I'm sure it's going to absolutely blow up this year, and I look forward to following.
Yeah, we're doing everything for the travel agents and travel advisors, and we really like to see their support coming in, registering, asking us questions, telling us about their problems that we can solve. Tell us where they want to book properties. If they don't see them on our platform, we would love to bring the best properties in those geographies to them, or yachts or cruises or anything else. Our eyes and ears are open to their requests, and we're here to serve them. And hopefully they will support us this year. So we'll have a great launch in March.